welcome to the Xtreme 2 Racing League. Race 3, we're here at Silverstone. Should be another good race. We've seen some amazing races so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Joining me here this evening is once again Jar Baloo. Good evening, Jar.
Yeah, good evening. We got a full grid once again for this race. This will be very, very exciting. We also got some new faces here. We got the Zeno, FS7 Zeno, and we got Meet Dean, who is Dean, obviously, and a few other drivers we did see in Austria last race, including CJ Allen, who did unfortunately retire in Austria, and he was in 5th place during the race until he did crash during the race. So we shall see if he can redeem himself in Silverstone today.
Yes, indeed, it'll be interesting to see that, and as well, all the new drivers will be looking to impress. Fabulous racetrack here in Silverstone. Obviously, had the big complete rebuild a few years ago, but made it one of the best race tracks on the calendar. Personally, that I feel.
Yeah, the track was rebuilt during Sector 1 in 2010. In 2009, we did have the old layout of the circuit, including the bridge corner, and also the start finish line was before cops, obviously. Right, we are now in Q1. Let's see who makes it into the top 15.
Yes.
Right, it's now time to wait to see who goes out on track first. Of course, we now got twins in this stream. We've got Ben Green and Zach Green, F1 Vettel and OP Gimp. OP Gimp is now racing in the Mercedes for tonight, since he is a reserve, as he joined only a few days ago. And F1 Vettel wants to keep his championship lead. He is currently leading the championship after on his first 2 races. He did win his first race in France and his second race in Austria. So now it will be interesting to see these rivalries between the two twins, and this will be interesting. Nobody's going out on track yet. After 1 minute, try to see. Guess it's a waiting game to see whoever goes out on first.
Yes, indeed. I don't think there's ever been twins in Formula 1 before. There's been a lot of brothers racing at the same time, but I don't think there's ever been twins before. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic to the race. Let's see if they're as quick as each other. I have to say, I would laugh if they set exactly the same lap time. That would be kind of ironic.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when the one is racing for Mercedes and when the other one is driving for Ferrari. Right. After 2 minutes, nobody else has gone out for the laps yet. This is going to be interesting.
Yes, everyone's sort of waiting around here at the moment. Maybe they're just sorting out their setups or something like that, but everyone is still in the pit lane.
Yeah. Yeah, there is yeah, Swifty needs to quit. Oh, Kenzie's left the session. We need him back in because... Okay, now people are going out. Finally, after 2 minutes of a bit of problems with Swifty Pickle Neil. Let me just...
Yes, this reminds me of the qualifying of the olden days in the old 1 hour sessions. We used to sit around for 15-20 minutes with no one going out. But finally we have a Ferrari leaving the pits. It's Aiden, I believe, and we've got a couple of others also out onto the track as well.
Yeah, we've also got Toro Rosso of Ken. I am Kenzas, along with the with the Alfa Romeo of M7 Maverick, which is Pete Poloni.
And the Haas of Rickard has gone out as well.
Yep,
So
along
we've got
with
a
the
few
Red
cars now
Bull
starting to come
of
out.
Zeno is also out on track as well. Everyone seems to be going out immediately. Some are going on the medium tyre. BCFC Savage is going on the medium tyre.
Yes, I don't appear to have any engine sound at the moment, but hopefully that will sort itself out. I've got every other sound, but I don't have any engine sound. But
Yeah,
no
that's
matter,
weird.
on we go.
Right, who is
And
out to
they're all
be
starting to pour
first?
out.
Yep.
They're all starting
Who
to
is?
pour out of the pits now. There's only 5 cars still in the pit lane, so I don't know if Fraser's still in the session. I don't know. I haven't seen him rejoin.
Yeah, Fraser's just
But
joined back in the session, I think. And this will be interesting for the cars who go out now, since they're going to be waiting around for everyone else to go past them, since everyone else is doing their flying laps. So,
and I've just noticed here as well, the 2 McLarens and one of the Force Indias really nearly contact between the 2 McLarens there. There is nearly contact. One of the McLarens has stopped at the side of the track, but there was nearly contact. But yeah, the 2 McLarens and the Force India that was behind them, I'm not quite sure which one it was, but they were weaving down the back straight, the old pit straight, to try and get some heat into their tyres, which is unusual around here, because normally with the soft tyres around here, they're wearing out quite quickly, so you don't normally need to get too much heat into them. In fact, normally you need to do the opposite on an outlap, try and look after them.
yeah, it's a bit weird, as multiple cars are now starting out for their first flying laps of the session, probably their final ones for Q3. We shall see who gets the top spot as F1 Vettel crosses the line to start his flying lap as well.
There's a yellow flag in sector 3. Not quite sure what's happened there. Maybe someone's just trying to get out of the way.
Yep.
The change of direction in these first 2 corners is just incredible. There, just watching Andy through the first 2 corners. You've really got to have the car set up well. But the change of direction there is incredible.
Yep, as Bass Catalyst Hayden goes to the final 2 corners of the track, and we shall see who is going to get that as Ricard sets a 128.9. What will Bass Catalyst, the new Ferrari driver, will get? He gets 129.5.
That's a good lap. It's a very good lap. Fraser also out on his outlap. CJ in the Renault is just coming out. Oh, there's another yellow flag. I'm not sure what that was.
That is Thomas Edwards. He went on the gravel as well. He seems to be going on the gravel a lot. I don't know why. Maybe he's trying to get out of the way of the cars, but you don't really need to go on the gravel to miss out on the cars. As FS78 Zeno has just set a 128.5. Not bad for his first outing as a reserve driver for the X2 league. As Ben Green sets a 128.2 as well.
Yes, Ben Green looking very, very fast. Scott's just done a 31.0. Not sure if that was a mistake from him on that lap. And Andy on a 30.4. As Dean goes third. And here's CJ. He's gone third as well. That's a great lap there in the Renault. 128.596 to put him into third place there from CJ.
5-place grid penalty for Nick Wynn. It is his second race of the season, and he is supposed to be reserve driver. Not a great start from him, as he does get.
No, I think that was on the way into the pits. I think that's the 2 McLaren drivers. I think that was on the way into the pits. I think Thomas Edwards just maybe braked a little bit too early for him, and he ended up going into the back of him there. So because I was just looking at them, and they were both coming down the pit lane. So that's disappointing there for Nick Wynn. He will be dropping down, like you said, 5 places. And round here, that as we've seen in 2 other league races this weekend, starting in the middle of the pack, you're leaving yourself open to getting caught up in all the trouble at the start.
Yep,
I'm
as
watching Gimp now in the second Mercedes, which is Ben's brother, Ben's twin brother. Let's see what lap time he can produce into Stowe. It's a great great corner there.
as Bryce Faulkner spins out. Bryce Faulkner spins
And
out,
Gimp
which
and Gimp has gone into the pit. Sorry, Bryce has spun. Let's have a look. Yes, there he is. I just picked him up on the stream. That was out of Cop's corner, I believe.
is Alcott's corner towards the run to Makasa Beckett. He has spinned out on the corner.
So easy to do there. If you haven't got the car absolutely right, a touch of it's such a fast corner, almost flat as well. That corner.
Yep, as
so easy to do if you haven't got the car perfect.
Yeah, as Thomas Edwards goes out of the pits to start his second outlap of the session, since he did have problems on his first outing. And
yes.
will Bryce Faulkner start his lap again? He will start his lap again.
And so, current top 10, we got Ben at the top. We got Zeno in second place. CJ third. That's still a great lap from CJ in third place. Dean fourth. Ken is fifth for Toro Rosso. That's also a good showing there as well. Pete Bellini is sixth. Ricard is seventh. Rian Fori is eighth in the Red Bull. And ninth is Michael in the Force India, with Aiden in the Ferrari currently in 10th. But he's gone back out. Still waiting for 6 drivers to set a lap time. Both McLarens haven't. David Edger in the Renault as well. Bryce in the Toro Rosso. Also the Racing Point of Neil is yet to set a lap. And Gimp in the Mercedes. I can't remember what Ben's twin brother's name is. So for now I'm just going to go with Gimp.
As Zach Green goes out of the pit lane to start his second.
That's the one.
Yeah, Zach Green is now going to start his second outlap, since he may have invalidated his first flying lap, but we're not sure of that. As David Edgar goes down towards this third last corner, as Bryce Faulkner also goes down out of the back straight as well, as Thomas Edwards starts his flying lap as well.
So let's see.
Bryce
has kept it on the road this time. No, Bryce is going in the pit, so he's not. He must have invalidated his lap somewhere. But Bryce goes into the pits, and the McLaren there of Thomas Edwards rather cut that final corner onto the pit straight, but he might get away with that there, because I think he probably lost more time than he gained. The two McLarens are still. Oh, and talking of the other McLaren, Nick Wynn has spun. Just trying to see where it is. Not quite sure.
Second corner now, and the
second corner. Yeah, so he's spun it there.
Yeah, so, he was going out of the pits.
Not going well for the McLarens at the moment. They're pushing a little bit too hard, it seems, because they're both making mistakes and flying off the road. And as we know, Nick Wynn does now have this 5-place grid penalty.
Yeah,
don't forget, bottom 5 is what goes out in this first session. So it doesn't matter too much about the lap time, just as long as you get through. That's the important thing.
Yep, as Zach Green goes out for his second flying lap of session, I'm guessing, as he goes through the first corner, then the second corner, then the run down towards the little hairpin, and then to the second hairpin to go down the main straight where he has DRS. As Nick Wynn lets drivers pass for their outlaps, as well as Ricard is also going out to finish his lap time on the second place finish with a 1:28.4.
That's a very good lap, and Thomas Edwards coming through to complete his first flying lap of the session. He moves up to 12th on a 1:30.4. So very close behind Andy there in the Alfa Romeo. So Bryce going out again. 5 minutes of the session to go. I was still waiting for cars. David Edgar, I think, must have invalidated his lap time because he didn't set one. He's just coming through now to complete his lap. Where does it put him? He goes, wow, 1:59.0. He stays at the bottom. So
yep.
Nick Wynn and David Edgar seem to be struggling a little bit here.
Yep, as Zach Green goes through the second last corner to the last corner again. Oh, he's oversteered a ton through there. He must have lost a lot of time through there. But he still goes
But he
ninth.
still goes ninth. That's a great lap. Considering he made that mistake, he still goes into ninth place. So that's good. Scott is also out again in the other Mercedes. So he is on a lap as well. He's coming through the final sector. He's currently in the drop zone. He's in 16th position. If he improves by 2/10, or just over 2/10, he'll move up 2 places into 14th. So that's got to be his main target for now. Like I said, it's just about getting through.
Yeah,
For now,
flags in
he's
sector
16th
3.
at the moment. And Scott goes 10th. Look at that between the two Mercedes there. Zach and Scott separated by 0.06 of a second. Talk
Not
about
bad
evenly
from
matched
him.
teammates there. That is absolutely brilliant. Now, 2 cars have set a lap time, but they haven't been particularly quick. They are David Edgar and Nick Wynn. Nick Wynn is coming through to complete his 2nd flying lap. It's been a bit of an eventful
Oh, there's a Red
qualifying
Bull.
for
There's a
him
Red
so
Bull.
far.
There's a Red Bull spun out. And that is FS78 Zeno. He just spun out on the last corner.
And that will be disappointing for him because that's his out lap as well. That was his out lap. So that'll be disappointing for him. He won't be able to improve. So, and Nick Wynn, incidentally, improved to a 1:31.1, but he remains 17th. Now, David Edgar here, he's going to have to be a very quick turnaround. He's got 3 minutes to go. He's only done a 1:59.0, and we know he's quicker than that. I would think he would probably be at least up there with his teammate in 4th. So he's going to have to do a very quick turnaround, bolt a new set of tyres on, and just go.
Yep, as Bryce Faulkner is now going through to the first fast right-hander down towards the 3rd last corner, then to the second last corner, and then the last corner. What time will he get? It seems a pretty fast lap time so far, but it looks like it will be a 1:29.3.
A good lap. And the other person yet so lap time is Neil in the Force India. He is coming through now to the final Vale chicane. Vale and then Club. These last 2 corners as he comes out and he crosses the line. He does a 29.7 to move into 14th. So currently bottom 5. Thomas Edwards in the McLaren. Fraser in the Williams. Jabez John in the other Williams, Nick Wynn in the McLaren, and David Edgar in the Renault, who he's running out of time, is David Edgar.
Yeah, he definitely
He really is running out of time. He's got to go now, or else I don't think... And yes, he is heading out of the pits now. Just as I said that, he is going out. Nick Wynn back into the pits, but David Edgar, he's going to have to absolutely nail his outlap. He's got a minute and 40 seconds as he comes out of the pits, and the lap times here are about a minute and a half. So he's going to have to absolutely nail his outlap. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. As both Williams start on their flying laps, you try to get out of the bottom 5. As you say, David Edgar is going out for his flying lap of the session, as Thomas Edwards is on the flying lap right now. Through Mackett's and Beckett's.
I think he'll struggle to improve, to be honest. He's on 3 lap-old tyres already, so...
Yeah, he's already...
And David Edgar... David Edgar's actually gone out on the same set of tyres as well, so he's not changed his tyres, trying to save tyres. I'm just looking at Fraser here. He's 17th at the moment. Can he improve? Let's have a look what his middle sector time. He's only a fraction up. He's only half a tenth up. He needs to find, to get out of that drop zone, he's got to find 0.4 of a second. And he's only half a tenth up at the moment. So it could be difficult here for Fraser to get out of the bottom 5. Let's see what he can do. Coming through the last 2 corners now.
And he goes.
The second right-hander. And he does improve, but not enough. 4 thousandths off of Thomas Edwards. But he remains 17th, does Fraser.
Yeah. As John...
The last race I commentated on, he actually did very well, did Fraser. He was doing well in qualifying, so he'll be disappointed with that.
Yeah. Yep, as John goes into the pits. He doesn't think that he will improve his that time.
Either. Oh, and there's a... that was Andy gone off as well in the Alfa Romeo. That was through Maggots and Beckett's. I just flicked through and saw him off the track, so he's not going to improve either. Thomas Edwards is off as well. So, and he's completely off the track there. I'm not quite sure what he's doing, but he's completely off the track down the Wellington Straight. So that he looks like being our bottom 5, unless David Edgar can pull a lap out of the bag. Well, he's 5 seconds up on his own lap time in the first sector, which you think he probably should be, doing a 1:59. Let's see what he can do. He's the only one now who can affect the top 15. Andy is currently the driver on the bubble in 15th place. He needs a 1:30.4. Bit of pressure here for David Edgar. He won't want to go out and qualify last. So a little bit of pressure on him here. He's the last one who can set a lap time of any importance in terms of going through to the next part of qualifying.
Yep, as Pete Poloni goes down the straight back onto the right-hander towards the little chicane as well. It'll be interesting to see what lap time. He does look like he's going to be going through to the next qualifying session, but we'll see what lap time he gets.
Let's have a look. David Edgar now coming through the last 2 corners. Struggled a little bit to get the traction down on the way out of there, but David Edgar just scrapes in 15th, the 1:30.0. He's just in, and I think Nick Wynn is also on a lap. I think he's just about started his lap on time. So can Nick Wynn improve here?
Yeah, just saying that Pete Poloni did go third with a 1:28.4.
That's a very good lap.
Yeah, about 31 hundredths behind Ricard. Very, very fast lap time, but nobody can beat Ben Green in this session. 2 tenths up from second place.
That's a good lap. I'm just looking at Nick Wynn now. Let's have a look. Can he improve? He's a couple of tenths up in the first sector. He needs to find just over a second to knock David Edgar out of the first part of qualifying.
It seems like that everyone else has about 2 extra minutes since... oh, actually, never mind. Qualifying has just started to end. It was supposed to end about 1.5 minutes ago, but because of those... of Swifty Pickle not starting qualifying because of disconnection, it seems like everyone else has an extra 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, so here comes Nick Wynn. Can he move off the bottom of the timesheets? Yes, he does. Not quite enough to get out of qualifying, but he goes 16th. And look at that. Ben Green does a 1:27.9. That's a seriously fast lap time. And, well, that's just completely... That's half a second faster than the rest of the field. That is an outstanding lap time.
Yeah, as the Red Bull goes into the pits, FS78 Zeno... As Ken goes through the final 2 corners. What time will he get? He goes a 1:28.4, puts him in 4th.
I'll say though, look how close it is there between 2nd and 7th. There is just a 10th and a half, and then just not far behind that as well is Ryan Forey and Dean. So between 2nd and 9th, 0.4 of a second. This is going to be a cracking final part qualifying, I reckon, later on.
Yeah, it'll also be interesting for Q2, who would want to start on the medium tyre. As
yeah, starting on the mediums will have its advantages. We've seen the softs are wearing out much quicker than people were expecting. Quick look at the order here. John in the Williams is out. The 2 Williams starting on the back row, unfortunately for them. Thomas Edwards also out. And
actually, it looks like both McLarens are starting the back row, since both have 5-place grid penalties. So
yes, indeed. Yes, I hadn't seen that. Yes, Nick Wynn and Thomas Edwards will be starting on the back row, and also Andy in the Alfa Romeo is also the 5th driver out. So 2 McLarens, two Williams, and an Alfa Romeo out in the first part of qualifying.
Yep, it's now towards Q2. Who would want to go on the medium to soft strategy or the soft to medium strategy? We shall see.
Because we've seen from Yes, can both twins make it into the final part of qualifying? It'd be great to see them on the front row together, wouldn't it? That would be brilliant. See the two twins together.
Somebody already is
Q2.
going out for the qualifying.
Yes, I think it's one of the Mercedes, I think, is going out. Yeah, Zach is going out. And one of the Ferraris as well. That's Ben. So the two, here we go. The two twins are, oh no, they're half got in the middle. I was going to say they're the first two out on the pits, but they're not quite, unfortunately. But so we got Zach, we got Rickard, and we've got Ben coming out. Also, Aiden in the other Ferrari also coming out. So they're all starting to come out of the pits now. So Q2, top 10 will go through. Whatever tyres they qualify on, they will start the race on. The bottom 5, they will drop out, and then we'll go to the top 10 shootout.
Yep, as F1 Vettel, Rickard, and Pete Poloni and Zach Green seems to be going out on the medium tyre.
Yes, and again, I'm seeing the Ferrari there of Aiden weaving down the back straight. So I'm just trying to see what tyres he's on the soft. So again, I've seen that a few times here in this qualifying session. Cars weaving down the straights to get a bit of heat into the tyres. Not really. I mean, I've done 2 races this weekend. It's not really been necessary for me to have to do that because these tyres get hot very, very quickly. And we're seeing this is David Edgar doing exactly the same thing as well. So they're all feeling the need to try and generate a bit more heat.
Yep. So we've got the Mercedes of Gimp, Zach Green, starting out on his first flying lap on the medium tyre as he goes through the final corner.
Quite a few cars have gone for these medium tyres. Ken in the Toro Rosso, Bryce in the other Toro Rosso, 2 Toro Rossos. As you said, Zach is out on the medium, so is Pete as well in the Alfa Romeo. Rian Fori in the Red Bull, and Rickard in the Haas, and Ben in the Ferrari. They're the cars all out on the medium tyres. So we saw this, the last race I commentated on France, we saw this. A few cars unexpectedly got into the top 10 because they did qualifying on the soft tyres. So let's see if that happens again, or whether or not they can stay a bit more true to form.
Yep, as a few other cars, except every single car except for Bryce Faulkner has gone out to start their first flying laps on either the soft or medium compound tyre. So it seems like half the grid.
I think Dean and Rian are also in the pits. I think they haven't gone out yet either. So I think they're also just waiting it out, see what happens.
Yeah, it seems like half the grid.
The Mercedes is going slowly here. That's Zach going slowly. He's gone right off the track there to let. I think that's his brother going through. I'm not quite sure what's happened with Zach, why he's going so slowly, or why he's on the grass even. Is there a technical issue there, or is he okay? I think he's okay going back onto track now. It's always a little bit tricky when you go completely off the track like that to try and get back on again, because then your tyres are dirty. Ben with a 21.9, so a lot slower than he was doing before. Rickard goes fastest.
As strangely, the Ferrari of Hayden does go faster than the medium compound tyre. Rickard goes at 128.6 on the medium compound tyre.
Oh, and CJ's off in the Renault. CJ's gone off through, that's Magnus and Beckett's, he's gone off there. So, flicking through, I just saw it. There's a yellow flag out in section 1 as well. Someone's going slowly. But yes, Aiden, they're faster than Ben. I know Aiden's on the slightly quicker tyre, being on the softs, and Ben on the mediums. But that will please him to be slightly quicker than his teammate.
Yeah.
Ken now in the Toro Rosso coming through. What kind of lap time can he do? He's also on the medium tyres, as is his teammate Bryce, who's still in the pits, but it looks like he could be. And Ken goes 3rd, so he also just beats Ben's time. We've got Ken and Ben on row 2 at the moment.
Yeah,
just
about
to confuse me a little bit more.
That's about 6,000 tenths of a second. 6,000 of a second. Oh, and the Red Bull of FS78 has just been disqualified from the session for going the wrong way.
Yes, maybe he spun there and then was trying to get back on the track. It can be quite easy to do if you spin and try and get going again.
That might benefit the drivers that might be slow around here that have just made it to Q2. So we shall see who actually makes it to Q3.
Yes, CJ has aborted that lap after the spin. So he's come straight back into the pits. And a penalty. I'm trying to see what's happened there. A penalty for Aiden. Apparently he's collided with...
Yeah, another pit lane incident.
Yes, so I think that's what was with Ricard in the pits. So well, it's such a slow pit lane here. It's 37 mile an hour.
Yeah,
it's a
both
long
Ricard
time for
and Hayden both have grid penalties. So this is going to be interesting because Ricard seems to be pretty fast right there. His best position could possibly be right now is 5th place after grid penalties.
Yes, I mean on the medium tyres he's gone half a second quicker than Ben, who was the pace setter in Q1, and they're on the same tyre, so that's quite telling that maybe Ben's got good qualifying pace, but his race pace might not quite be as good. This is Bryce on his outlap. Also, there is Zach finally come out of the pits.
As Stephen Haas running the number 69 as always, and goes down to the final 3 corners to finish this lap time on a soft tyre. What will it be? It will be fastest 1:28.2.
That's a cracking lap there. Absolutely crack. 1:28.2. I mean, that's not far away from what Ben did in Q1. So Rian Fori out on the medium tyres. This is his first flying lap in the Red Bull.
Yeah, both Haas
Let's
1
see
2.
what he can do, but yeah, having time to see that. Haas 1 and 2. I don't think I've ever seen that before actually. But as Pete Polini's going out again in the Alfa Romeo. So, but let's see what Rian Fori can do into Cops Corner. The direction change there is incredible. Want it right to the edge of the track, then into this brilliant. I'm going to try and ride on board here. Absolutely brilliant section here. Maggotts, Beckett's, and then Chapel, the little left-hander leading onto the hangar straight. And it's just all about just having Carl good change of direction and good traction through there. Over 200 miles an hour into Stowe, about 130 miles an hour there on the apex, and just immediately back on the throttle down to this very tricky little chicane at the end of the lap. But easy to lock your wheels or run a little bit wide there, starting to misjudge your braking. As Rian Fori comes across the line and he goes second. That's also a very good lap on those medium tyres. The 28.4.
Yeah, very good.
So
yeah, great lap time from him.
Well, Ben Green could be in a little. Yeah, Ben Green's going back out again. I think he realises he could be under a little bit of pressure here because he's down in 6th. Maybe he made a mistake, but I think that's a brand new set of mediums as well. So from what I can see, that is a brand new set of mediums on his car as well there. So he's obviously trying to stick with this strategy. Maybe made a mistake in his first run. Let's see as he comes down to the first sector point. Let's see if he's up. He's only a fraction up. So, but that at the moment will move him up at least 1 position and be right behind his teammate as well. So his teammate's less than a tenth quicker than him. So if he can find a tenth of a second, he will move up into 4th and probably feel a little bit safer. But again, look how close it is between 4th and 8th. There is a quarter of a second separating those 5 cars.
Jesus, as Chris Allen goes across for his first flying lap on the medium tyre as well. Seems he is very confident to see how fast he can go around here. As Zach also goes out
in the first.
Yep, as Zach also goes out in
the first part qualifying. Yeah, I can see why. I can see why from his first part qualifying there. But here comes Ben coming across the line. Last couple of corners. Can he improve on his 1:29.1? Yes, he does. He goes 3rd on a 28.5. That's a bit more like it from Ben.
Yep,
so
definitely.
we've got Dean, Rian Fori, Ben and Ricard. That's your top 4 with Aiden 5th with a grid penalty and Ricard as well. Ken 6th, David Edgar is 7th, Scott is 8th in the Mercedes, And as I say that, Pete Poloni goes up into 5th position. So that knocks everyone down a bit. And Bryce Faulkner at the moment is the last car to make it through. We've got 4.5 minutes. And we're still waiting for 3 cars to set a lap time. That's CJ, Zach and Michael in the Force India. I think he's on a lap now. Let's have a look. Yes, here he is. Michael as he comes across the line. And he goes 4th. That's a great lap there in the
yeah, not
in
bad
the racing
on the
point.
soft tyre.
So here is CJ coming through to complete his lap. So Zeno has been disqualified, so he will start. I don't know if he'll start 15th or at the back, which might.
He will be starting
up a little bit.
15th, I believe. As Alan goes.
CJ go 8th.
Yep, Chris Allen goes 8th. As Ben Green, or no, Zach Green, I already mixed up the twins already, goes for his goes through the last corner to start his flying lap already.
There's some Bryce Faulkner. Well, he's gone out on the same set of medium tyres, trying to improve his lap time.
Oh no, he goes into pits.
And he's pitting. He's pitting. So again, it'll have to be a quick turnaround. He might chuck a set of softs at it now. As Scott here in the Mercedes, I think he went out on mediums before, but he has gone out on a set of softs this time to try and improve. He's currently 11th in the drop zone, so he needs to find about a 10th, but if he finds 3 tenths, he's going to jump right up the order. 3 tenths will move him up to 7th, so that's how tight it is in that midfield battle. Standout performance so far from Dean though in that hat. So 128.2, only a fraction off what, only about 2 or 3 tenths off of what Ben managed to do in the first session in the Ferrari. So that's a great lap from him. We'll be very happy with that. Top 6 are all in the pits. Aiden's felt the need to come out again in the Ferrari, and he's gone out on another set of softs. So let's see here what Scott can do in the Mercedes. He comes into the old turn 1, Cox corner. Brilliant direction change there. Runs it nice, not too wide, right to the white line. Flicks through Maggots and then Beckett's. There he is. A little bit wide in the first part of Beckett's, but he'll just about get away with that as someone's jumped up the table. I think that Zach has gone 6th. Yeah, Zach has gone 6th in the other Mercedes. So we saw how close these 2 Mercedes were to each other last time. I think Scott will be trying to at least match a little bit wide again in the first part of Vale, which then just sets you up badly for the run to the line. So Scott crosses the line and he stays 12th. Didn't improve, he was 4 tenths off. If he's got enough fuel, he might just get one more lap out of this. No, he's backed out of it. So Scott is going to be out of qualifying. David Edgar's gone out on a new set of mediums.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting move. So, but Bryce and Neil are
Zach Green.
Pits.
Look at Zach Green. He's just. Yeah. He's going to let other cars through. Yeah, great lap from him. Up to 6. But as always, we've got
David Edgar here coming through to complete the second sector. Is he improving? No, he's half a second down. So David Edgar here, well, he's gone with the medium tyres, trying to get through on the mediums, and it looks like it's going to backfire on him at the moment because he's not going to be quick enough. He only needs to find about a tenth and a half, and he'll jump around. Yeah, David Edgar pit, so he is also out. Scott, we know he's on an in-lap, and well, Neil's gone out, but he's not going to have enough time to set a lap here, I don't think. He's only got 35 seconds, and he's only going down the Wellington Straight, so I'm not quite sure why he's gone back out again. Aiden in the Ferrari is on a lap. He's 2 tenths up, which will... well, that will move him up at least 1 position. He's 8th at the moment. CJ has also gone out again in the Renault, as has Pete Polini in the Alfa Romeo. So those 3, Ken as well in the Toro Rosso is on a lap. So let's have a look as Aiden crosses the line. He goes 7th on a 28.8. CJ going very slowly on his outlap, and yeah, the time's up. The time is up, so anyone on those outlaps aren't going to count. So it's only Ken is the only one who can improve now, unless Aiden goes for another lap. He crossed the line in time. Let's have a look here what Ken is doing. He's 0.8 of a second up. This is a much better lap for him. In fact, at the moment, he will be second on that if he improves by 0.8. That would be a stunning effort. That would be ahead of the Works Red Bull of Rian Fori. And he slowed right down. He's going to go in the pits. Well, he could have gone very quick there, but maybe just trying to save the tyres.
Yeah, I think he's going to try to save the tyres for Q3. But it is a very, very long circuit around here, especially with the long hit lane with the 37 mph speed limit. So I personally think there's only time for 2 flying laps in the 12-minute session. So
yeah, that's going to go out immediately as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be tight. He's very, very tight around here. Such a long pit lane. About 30, is it 30, 35 seconds for a pit stop round here?
Yeah, 35 seconds.
Such a long pit lane.
Yeah,
such a long pit lane. Very slow.
Yeah, it's about 10 seconds more than the pit lane in Austria, which is a huge amount of time around here. So if you do get front wing damage, you would have to replace it, and it takes about 45 seconds to replace the front wing, which is a nightmare.
Yeah, that's an age in Formula 1, isn't it? 45 seconds. Completely ruin your race. So, end of Q2, about to start Q3. Dean fastest, Rian Fori second, Ben third, Michael fourth for Racing Point, fifth for Ricard, but he does have a grid penalty, as does Aiden in the Ferrari in seventh. Zach is sixth, Pete Polini eighth, CJ ninth, and Ken just makes it through in 10th position, but we saw him on a much quicker lap. David Edgar will be disappointed with that. He starts 11th. Scott is also out in 12th. Bryce Faulkner in the Toro Rosso 13th. 14th for Neil in the Racing Point. And Zeno disqualified in the Red Bull. So, there we have the top 10 shootout. Any predictions, Jar? Do you think, who do you think is going to nick pole?
Ben Green seems to be the favourite right now because he seems to have the best qualifying pace out of all the grid right now in this league. But I would like to see a front row for the two twins, Ben and Zach. But also I think that Rickard could possibly get pole, but of course he does have that grid penalty. So this will be interesting. Especially we did see that 12th in the first part qualifying where second to ninth were around around the 10th of a second close together.
Very, very tight. And Rian Fori immediately out on track. So this is what we said, you need to jump out on track very, very quickly here. 12-minute session. I mean, look, it's already 45 seconds have gone just by the time he comes out of the pits to the end of the pit lane. So it's such a long pit lane here. Very, very slow. And Rian Fori, the first one to venture out on track in Q3. I'm surprised no one else has jumped out. Maybe some of them are going to go for just the one run. Rian maybe going a little bit more careful, going for two. Ken is also out now. They're all starting to come out now. But I expected to see a few more come out right behind Rian Fori here, not waiting 10, 15 seconds longer.
Yep, as Alan...
And of course they're all on soft tyres in this session as well.
Yeah, of course. As always, it's about getting the fastest lap as possible around here. Turn all the engines up to the maximum volume you can possibly can. As Rian Fori goes towards Marcus Beckett to start his flying lap very, very soon.
But interestingly here, Dean and Zach have decided to stay. Or Zach's just left the pits, but Dean is still in the pits. So maybe he is going to go for just one. We saw him use an extra set of softs in the Q2. So maybe he's only got one brand new set of softs left.
Yep, as he is going towards the exit of the pit lane right now for his outlap. So everyone looks like it's out on the outlaps, but Rian Fori, of course, is going out first as he goes to start his flying lap towards the first corner. Very, very quick right, left for in the first two corners. Then go down towards second or third gear towards the hairpin. As there's yellow flags in sector 3 was happened around here, I think it might just be someone slowing down to let a fast car through towards the Wellington Straight. I think it is, or maybe Hangar. As
It's the Wellington Straight.
yeah, Wellington Straight as he goes towards this very quick left and right hander, and try to get best exit out here as possibly can, as towards from here towards Mackinson Beckett's. It's basically a flat out, except for this right hander coming around right now. Very quick round there. I did see a little bit of oversteer in round 4's car. Mackinson Beckett's. It's
Yeah, they're
amazing
so
how
finely
fast these
poised
cars
around
go
here, aren't they?
nowadays.
I know, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Here. The change of direction, the speed they can carry through the corners. I mean, when I was looking there, I think even through the slowest part of Beckett's, he was doing about 165 miles an hour. Through the slowest part, first part, he hit about 190. It's an incredibly quick series of corners. Final chicane, Rian Fori, what kind of lap time? A little bit of oversteer on a couple of corners on the lap, but overall he's been very good this lap. And look at that, into the 27s. That's a great lap. 127.8 from Rian Fori.
Yep,
so
as Ken goes across the line as well. Ken goes across the line as a 128, basically dead. As Rickard goes at 128.2. I think he knows he has a grid penalty for the next part, so he will possibly try to go as fast as possibly can. As
look at that, Pete Polini says exactly the same lap time as Rickard as well. So the nearest thousandth of a second, they were exactly the same.
Feat.
Ben goes third.
Ben goes interesting third.
CJ. Don't know if he made a mistake here, because he did go quicker than that in Q1.
Yeah, he did.
So maybe he made a mistake. CJ coming across the line now in the Renault. He goes fourth. Great effort from him. Only 10th off Ben. 128.1.
Goes through the far last corner as well towards the line. It will be a 128.7.
So one more person set a lap time, and that's Dean in the Haas. He's coming into Stowe corner at the end of the Hangar Straight now. So he's only got a couple of corners to go. Tricky braking zone down into the Vale chicane. Very hard. It's about 70 miles, 65 miles an hour on the apex there. 75 for the second bar. And then just full power, about 150 miles an hour by the exit. And Dean goes fourth. Another good lap.
Yeah,
Look how close it
me.
is. Second, third, fourth, separated by 100th of a second. And then behind that, we've got Rickard and Pete, exactly the same lap time. 6 thousandths between Aidan in 8th and Zach in 9th. It is incredibly tight between the whole field in different batches of 3 or 4 drivers.
Yep, as everyone's now going to peel into the pits right now. And I'm guessing waiting until around like the 2-minute 30 mark to start their second flying lap, or is someone going to risk it and try to set 2 flying laps to the end of the session?
Yeah, so what they're going to try and jump the queue here.
Yeah,
go out
so
early.
Rian Fori goes 2 tenths far, around 1.5 tenths faster than Ken right now. Ben Green seems to not have the great pace around here, as he said in the group chat that he's not that great and fast around here, so this will be interesting.
Well, I think maybe just a little bit of tactics being used by Ben there, because I mean we saw in the first part of qualifying he blitzed the field by over half a second, so I don't think he's struggling that much. Dean, interestingly, is carrying on and doing it and finishing this lap, so not sure if he's going to improve. Let's have a look. No, he doesn't. A fraction off. But Dean stays in fourth. But he's only got to find literally 11 thousandths of a second and he'll be on the front row. That's how tight it is there. So, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise if just a little bit of gamesmanship going on there with Ben. I saw all the group chats earlier on in the week trying to put himself down. But then he comes out in the first part of quali and blitzes the field by over half a second. So, didn't seem to be struggling too much. Yep. So this is going to be the problem here for Dean. Now, doing that extra lap, he's got 4.5 minutes, and he looks like he's running low on fuel.
Looks like Rickard is going out with the out lap right now, but on 1 soft tyres. Already used 1 lap soft tyres. That's interesting.
That is an interesting tactic there. Not quite sure.
Because I personally think that he's not going to have enough time to do a lap on new soft tyres if he does have any new soft tyres. So this will be interesting
Yeah,
as
like,
as
yeah, I don't know if Dean will be able. I mean, Dean's going to have to do a very quick turnaround. He just about seems to have kept enough fuel in, so maybe he might, if he gets a new set of softs on that, and maybe takes out the extra lap of fuel that he had on board, he might be able to find that extra couple of tenths that he's lacking to pole. He's only a tenth and a half off of pole, so let's see.
as Pipoloni goes out on his out
and
lap
again
as well.
weaving down the back straight. That's so. I don't know why they're doing that in this league here. We haven't had to do this all weekend, but a lot of drivers feeling the need to weave down the straights on their outlaps here.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, especially where you can get the heat in the tyres quickly, like around the Mackes and Beckett section, as Ricard goes out for his first flying lap on new soft tyres in Q3. Now, this will be interesting
Yeah, I
to
mean,
see how
there's
fast
some
it
very
goes.
quick. Yeah, Verdige's point earlier. I mean, there's some very, very quick corners. I mean, even like turn 1 and 2 will immediately heat up all 4 tyres. And then you brake, the hard braking zone will then also pump the heat into the tyres as well as the brakes. So, but they're still feeling the need to weave around. I mean, people weaving through Maggers and Beckett's there. I mean, that's brave. He must have a well set up car to be able to do that without pitching it into a wall. But,
Yep, as the Mercedes of Zach Green goes out for his flying up as well, as Rio Fori and Ken go out for their outlaps as well. Seems to be the time where everyone else is now going to start their outlaps, and then it's a pole shootout, I'm guessing. There's Ricard goes through Mackes and Beckett's very, very fast through there towards the DRS zone on the hanger straight. He activates DRS late there, surprisingly, as towards the right hander. Now going down towards the chicane. Oh no, he doesn't. He goes into the pits. This will be a very, very tight gap to see him go out, but I don't think he has enough time to go out for a final flying lap. Yeah, he doesn't look like it. As Pete Poloni goes out for his flying lap as well as the racing point of Mike, I'm guessing.
yes, yeah, Michael. Yes, he's out on the racing point. Pete Polini coming through that Alfa Romeo. I've said this a few times about him in qualifying. He really does seem to get the car set up well. The change of direction in that Alfa Romeo is incredible. He always seems to have the car perfectly set up.
Yep, he's 6/10 up from his lap time.
Yes. So that would put him in pole position as things stand. Well, wouldn't that be great? Seeing Alfa Romeo in pole position. He's only 4 tenths off of, not even 4 tenths, 3.5 tenths off of pole. Little bit of a mistake coming out of Stowe. So the lap times here are plummeting, but can Pete Polini snatch pole position, even if it's temporary? Let's have a look. He does. 1:27.7. Pete Polini takes pole position and immediately backs off the throttle. Rian Fori is a 1/10.5 up on his lap time, which again would snatch pole position. What a great Q3 we're having here. This is absolutely brilliant. This is what it's all about here. All these drivers really pushing hard. So, Rian Fori was 1/10.5 up on his own lap time. That would be enough to put him into pole position. He's now nearly 3 tenths up. So that would
good. That will
easily
be enough.
put him in pole.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, 27.5 at the moment is what he's looking at. As long as he doesn't make a mistake, a little bit wide into Stowe, but you kind of get away with it there. Such a wide track. There's a couple of different lines through there. You can just about get away with it perfect through the Vale chicane. And on the throttle nice and early as he comes across the line.
Oh,
and he doesn't improve. He improved by 0.03 of a second, but it wasn't enough.
As Ken goes through
Ken is on a very good lap. He's
Let's
on a
see
very
what he
good
gets.
lap here. Can Ken snatch pole? In the
He
Toro Rosso?
does.
Yes, he does.
A 1:27.5.
27.5. But Ben is also on a good lap as he comes through the final corner.
And he doesn't improve.
He does improve. He does not improve. And Dean isn't improving either. At the moment, he's 3 tenths down. CJ is a fraction down on his best. Michael's gone 9th. in the Racing Point, and he's not improving on this lap. Wow, what an end to the session we're having here.
We have a Toro
he has
Rosso,
slowed
Alfa
down.
Romeo, and a Red Bull, and a Ferrari in the first two rows of this race. Wow, this will be interesting.
Yeah, what a mixed-up grid this is. CJ Allen coming across the line. He's currently 6th. If he can, he's had a mistake there. Caught the curb a little bit too hard on the final part of the club. I think that he's slowed right down. That's cost him. That's the luck of him. The only person still out there, but yeah, he's not going quickly. So there we have our grid. Ken, what a lap from him. A 1:27.5 in the Toro Rosso to take pole position. Pete Polini second. Toro Rosso followed by an Alfa Romeo on the front row. Rian Fori third for Red Bull. Ben fourth in the Ferrari. Fifth for Dean in the Haas. Sixth CJ for Renault. Then we have Zach seventh in the Mercedes. Eighth Ricard in the second Haas. Michael still will be pleased with that in ninth place, up there on the pace of everyone else in the Racing Point. And Aiden at the moment is 10th. But don't forget, Ricard and Aiden do have 5-place grid penalties, so they're going to drop down.
Yeah, it seems like Ricard is going to start 13th on the grid with Hayden starting 15th. That does pro Michael up to 8th, along with some other drivers as well. So that's it for qualifying. We've now got a race to do. This will be very, very exciting, especially how close Q3 was with F1 Vettel and Zach Green and Dean, about 4,000, like literally 4,000 of a second between them. That is amazing.
It was, yeah. I mean, that was a brilliant third part of qualifying. It kept on changing hands, but finally Ken comes through and takes pole position in Toro Rosso. I mean, that is just, what a lap.
Right.
So,
yep, we got Ken first, People only second, Rian Fori third, Ben Green fourth, fifth is Dean, sixth is Chris Allen, seventh is Zach Green, the twin brother of Ben Green, Ricard with a 5-place grid penalty, Michael in ninth in the Racing Point, and Hayden once again in the Ferrari with a grid penalty. So this will be interesting for the race, as once again we do have a 5-minute break for the session.
yes, 5-minute break here for the British Grand Prix. First ever Formula 1 race in history was held here at Silverstone back in 1951 by Giuseppe Farina in an Alfa Romeo, who went on to win that year's World Championship. Lots of greats have had their first wins here, and great teams as well. Ferrari won their first ever race at this track in 1951. Britain's produced 10 world champions over the years as well, the most of any country, and has also had more wins than any other country in Formula 1 as well. And of course we've got Lewis Hamilton, currently the greatest British driver in history, rapidly closing in on all of Michael Schumacher's records over the years as the seasons go by. But what a race we're going to have here. Look out for turn 1. We've seen it in 2 races so far this weekend. Turns 1 and 2, they're all very close together, and it's so easy to run into each other and end up crashing out. We've seen contact in both races so far. The Talk of the Devil League and the Xtreme 1 Racing League. We've seen contact in these first 2 corners. So
yeah, definitely
look out for that. And also in under braking for turn 3, we might see someone try and do a Dan Dare up the inside.
Yep. As the starting grid
So,
for tonight's race will be Ken first in the Danish driver Toro Rosso. Very, very interesting to see a Toro Rosso up on pole with Pete Poloni starting second after a great qualifying performance in Q3. Rian Fori in the second row, third position for the Red Bull. I think he might be pretty proud of that performance. Ben Green, I don't think he will be satisfied with that performance, especially when he gets pole positions in France and Austria for the last 2 races. Dean, for his first race of this season, goes really, really well, up to 5th. Uh, but of course, starting on the soft tyre, the top 4 are starting on medium tyres. CJ Allen, Chris Allen in the Renault reserve driver, starting it on the medium tyre with Zach Green, Green's with Zach Green, Ben Green's twin brother, starting 7th with Michael in the Racing Point in 8th, starting on the soft tyre as well, with for being promoted up to 8th because of a grid penalty. We've got David Edgar in the Renault starting on the medium tyre, with Bryce Faulkner starting 10th in the Toro Rosso. Ricard, after a grid place penalty, is starting 11th in the Haas. He's not going to be happy about that, especially in the middle of the pack where incidents happen. With Neil second. FS78 Zeno seems to be not really glad with that performance, especially where he did get disqualified from the session, with Hayden starting 14th after a grid penalty as well for the Ferrari, with Andy Supershippy in 15th, Kenzie in 16th for Williams, same for John Signey in the Williams as well, and rounding up for the rest of the grid will be Thomas Edwards in the McLaren.
Yes, both McLarens will be disappointed with that, starting on the back row of the grid. The 2 Williams, will be disappointed, qualifying the 2 slowest, and then the 2 McLarens with the penalties. It's very strange definitely. We keep getting these pit lane incidents. We've had a couple in the Xtreme 1 racing and qualifying, and then we've had 2 or 3 here already as well. So,
yeah.
I know a few drivers were saying about the possibly the pit assist being made to be on or off to try and limit that.
As the drivers will start readying up now. So this will be interesting, especially the competition during Q1 and Q2 and Q3. Qualifying was very, very close throughout the whole time as the countdown starts for the start of the race.
This is my favourite part here, the build-up to the start. We've seen some incredible starts in these first few races of Xtreme 2. And some of the best races I've commentated on have been in the Xtreme 2 so far. So let's hope it continues. Looks like it's going to be a dry race as well. So we saw the rain in Canada cause complete chaos. So let's see. Here we go. The 5 lights are coming on. Ken on the right. Pete Polini on the left. And lights out. Away we go. Seems to be a good start there by the front row. One of the Ferraris coming up quickly on the inside. But great start from Ken. He takes lead. Pete's maintained second. Red Bull running a little bit wide there. I think that was Ryan Fori. And Zach's made a great start up into 4th place. Michael too's gained a couple of places. But Ken, what a start. The Ferrari of Ben trying to go around the outside of Pete Polini, didn't quite make it stick. What a start there for Zach in his first race. Dean is up to 5th as well. Ryan Fori slipped back a little bit. But Ken will be delighted with that start. Look at that gap he's already got. He's already nearly broken the DRS already to Polini behind him. He will be delighted with that.
Goes past 2. Oh, and there's a crash. There's a crash with the Red Bull. Ryan Fori spun round. And he has to let everybody fly as well. It's sad start.
Disaster for Ryan Fori. He didn't have the best start. Ben's trying to go up the inside of Pete Polini into Cop's corner. And Pete's forced a little bit wide. And Ben is trying to outdrag it into Mackers and Beckers. This is going to be brave. And Pete backs out of it at the last second. Probably the wisest option there. Ben moves into second. And Zach Luke trying to see if he can jump in there. And Dean as well. Another yellow flag. It takes 2. That's Zeno. The other Red Bull has gone as well. I think there's a wheel bouncing there. Is that Zeno out of the race? I think Zeno might be out of the race. I don't know if that was... Okay, sorry, it must have been a bit of other debris. I saw something bouncing in the background. But up the front, Ken's lost a little bit of time in the final sector. He was over a second ahead. He's now just half a second ahead. But Ken leads from Ben. And then we've got Pete Polini, who's 3rd. What a fight we saw between those 2 there. Zach, a great start as well, up into 4th place. Dean 5th, CJ 6th. Oh, and there's that's Dean off in turn 1. Dean's gone very, very wide in the first couple of corners. I think he had a bit of oversteer through turn 1. And
yeah,
it's cost him 4 places.
Yeah,
And Bryce is trying to get up the
well.
inside of him. That will be brave for him to hang on around the outside, but he just about has. And Bryce
Oh
is
my
still
God.
alongside as they come. Oh, how did they not touch there? That was brilliant driving by the pair of them. But Dean just hangs on to 9th position, and Bryce lost a little bit of momentum there. Oh, there's more contact. That's Aidan and McLaren spun. Thomas Edwards spun. And that, I think some of that was caused there by Aidan. Sort of, I saw him throw it up the inside of, I think it was.
Yeah, it's half a second between the leaders right now. Schumacher and Beckett. Especially
before he
the
picks, I think
straight.
he's got some damage.
And the Toros made a mistake. Ben Green will have to take it. And he tries to go round the outside. Drag race down towards the fast right-hander. Who will yield first? It's going to be the bravest.
Ben's trying to hang on round the outside. And Ken's, well, he backed out of that one. I think you can see an accident happening. But Ben Green, the man who's been saying all weekend he's going to struggle here, leads the race. Look at Ace though, the top 5, all line astern, with Michael trying to hang on as well in 6th place. This is absolutely brilliant stuff. And a penalty for Pete Polini. A penalty. Just right. Oh, and wide again by Kenny. This is the problem now. He's in the dirty air. But this is absolutely brilliant up the front.
The top 5 being separated by a second. This is so fun.
This is
look how close.
Brilliant. I mean,
look how close everyone is.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing here is that 4 of these top 5 are all on the medium tyres. So the only one that isn't there, as that runs wide.
Yeah, as Chris Allen
so the top 4 now are all on the medium tyres. The only one of these top 5 that isn't is... Oh, and Zach's gone completely. Zach's gone. He's dropped down to 10th place. So he made another mistake in there somewhere. And now he's dropped out of the top 10 altogether. As here comes Ken once again having a look at
and there's
Ben
a massive
up
crash.
front. I think that's the Mercedes, isn't it? That's the Mercedes of Zach gone, I think. Such a shame. He had such a good start. But look at this. The top 4. Oh, now got DRS. And here comes Ken round the outside. Ben defending the inside. Into Stowe corner. How brave is he going to be? And he just about hangs on. And goes round the outside. Ken retakes the lead. Pete Polini and CJ Allen watching this with interest because they know.
Tries to go down the inside. Ken defending on his life. As Ben goes round the outside, and he does it.
That was a great move. Brilliant move by Ben there to hang on round the outside. Pete Polini and CJ Allen must be watching this thinking they're going to collide. They're going to collide any second as Kenny's getting very, very close again. And Ben having to go defensive. CJ having a look around the outside of Pete Polini. Didn't quite make that one stick.
Of course, the RS is now enabled as Ken goes towards the Wellington straight.
4.
Yeah,
the top 4 separated by just over a second. And look at Michael as well, hanging on well in the Racing Point in 5th. Both Racing Points doing well. Neil's had a great start. Neil's moved up to 6th. What a start from him, because we started quite a long way down the grid. Dean is 7th right in his tail as well. David Edgar is 8th. Bryce Faulkner is 9th. And then we've got Aidan in 10th in the second Ferrari. But what a start to this race. The first 4 laps, full of action here up at the front. Exactly what we want to see.
As people only goes wide into the fast right-hander towards Mackett Beckett.
Yes, Rian Fori at the back of the grid. Of course, he pitted at the end of lap 1 with the damage he had. And he's gone on to a set of hard tyres. They might be able to go to the end. It's going to be difficult. We'll have to look after them quite well. But he might just the top 4 now.
Oh, yeah,
there's another yellow flag.
And there's a massive crash between Hayden and Andy.
Well, the newcomers here, there's been a few instances here with these new boys. Look at Michael Savage there in 5th place. He's coming back at the top 4 very, very quickly. CJ crawling all over the back of Pete Polini. Look
at the battle between 8th and 7th. They were going round side by side for about 2 corners right there. Amazing stuff. As look at Ken. Ken is about 3/10 of a second behind him towards the Wellington straight. DRS
so much actually, you don't know where to look. But Ben here, you think he might be under pressure here with the DRS from Ken. He might just have a big enough lead. But look at the 3 behind CJ Allen getting a good run here. And CJ now diving up the inside of Pete Polini. Pete trying to hang on around the outside, and he just about has. He's wide enough there to be able to do that. Michael Savage looking on. with interest there in 5th place, trying to get involved as well. But what a start there from Neil, I've got to say.
As Dean has spun. He's spun. He's onto the grass.
Such a shame. Two big errors there from Dean. He was running up in 5th on lap 1, and he's fallen back now to 15th position. Such a shame for Dean in his first race. He was looking good, and he's fallen back now.
As the leaders go towards that, it goes down the Hammer Straight. Better.
CJ's going for it again round the outside. Pete's hanging on down the inside, but CJ had just enough straight line speed to get ahead. So CJ moves up into 3rd place. His first race as well, of course. He's having a great run there in the Renault. Up into 3rd, and Pete brakes very late, nearly collected CJ there under braking. And Michael Savage, I'm really happy to see him up there in 5th place. I know he's had a couple of incidents in the last couple of races, but he's right there. And the 2 Williams fighting hard as well for 11th place.
As Rickard goes into pits. I wonder why. I think he's got
and with another yellow flag. And that's Ken
off.
Oh,
that's Ken.
Ken's off. Ken has spun. Ken has spun. I saw the yellow flag and I saw his name. Ken has dropped right down the field now. He drops behind David Edgar into 7th place. Such a shame. Another one in his first race here in Xtreme 2, and he's now dropped to 7th place. That has released the pressure big time on Ben out front. So Ben's now got a 2-second lead over CJ. CJ is just about dropping him. And, well, Zach Shoney's got some speed there, isn't he? He's just set fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, great lap for him then. But of course, him spinning out is not great for him, especially.
And one of the Williams is off. I think one of the Williams has gone off because Japus John has just dropped back a couple of places, and Zach's out. Zach is out. Oh, what a shame! He just set fastest lap, and he spun it. I think he's lost it coming out of the little left-hander going onto the Wellington Straight. He's lost it and has hit the wall. And Zach, in his first race in the Mercedes, he's out of the race. Oh, such a shame. I can hardly get my breath here. This is incredible stuff here in this race. So, CJ now closing the gap on the leader. He was over 2 seconds. He's now down to a 1.5 seconds. So Ben leads by just 1.5 seconds now. Another 1.5 seconds behind that is Pete Polini in 3rd place in the Alpha, as Zeno sets fastest lap. He's actually up to 8th place now. So
after that spin, he seems to be collecting these mistakes from the other drivers. Now going up to the points. We've got the RS between Michael and Pete Poloni. This will be a battle for the final podium position. It seems to be the closest fight right now. We're between 5 tenths.
Yes, and I've got to say as well, what a start from Neil in 5th place. He started down in 13th on the grid, and he's currently up into 5th. He's gained 8 places at the start, and that's Williams off again. That's John, and that's at the village corner just before the little left. So he's spun again. So he's now dropped to 15th position. But yeah, Neil's had a great start in the I keep calling it Force India. It's Racing Point, isn't it? He's up into 5th from 13th on the grid. He's got David Edgar and a recovering Ken now for company, as Thomas Edwards takes 11th place off of Fraser. And that was coming out of Cops Corner, so that was a brave move there from Thomas Edwards into Magnus and Beckett's can. Fraser getting back.
Yeah, Fraser's DRS right now. I saw Thomas Edwards make a mistake at the end of Magnus Beckett's.
And Dean's getting involved there as well. And Fraser dives up. That's very close.
That is incredibly close.
Another yellow flag in sector 2.
As Dean goes
Neil's
inside
got
the
a penalty.
As Dean goes inside
another yellow flag in sector 2. I'm not quite sure what's happened, but there's a yellow flag in sector 2.
It's the McLaren. No, it's not. I'm not sure what that was, but and Neil spun out.
Yes, he had. There he is. Neil spun. He was up in 5th. He's now dropped to 9th. We've just seen him get that penalty, and look, he's struggling now. His rear tyres have overheated, so he's now going to struggle for a couple of corners till he gets those temperatures down. So Ben's
look
now
at Hayden. Hayden's right at the back of Neil right now after his spin. Neil's going to be struggling on his rear tyres right now.
Great battle going on between Thomas Edwards and Fraser McKenzie there for 11th and 12th position as well. They keep swapping places very, very quickly. Dean has, I think, he made his pit stop, didn't he? He's actually come out ahead of Ryan Forey. We know he's recovering.
As Fraser goes down the inside. But as Thomas Edwards seems to be going towards Mackinton Beckett. Right.
Close. And Rickard in again.
Rickard's in again. What has happened to his race? His race has gone down into pieces. As Hayden goes past. Oh, there's a great battle as Neil the Racing Point goes defends his positions in 9th. As Ryan Forey has made a mistake on the hard tire. Very, very difficult grip on the hard tire.
Yes, it's these two up at the front though, Ben and CJ. They are matching each other. The gap is remaining stable. Michael is hanging up very, very well in 4th place to Pete Pellini ahead of him, remaining in DRS zone as John pits in the Williams from 14th position. We've seen him off the road a couple of times as well. But Fraser McKenzie and Thomas Edwards there are still separated by just a few tenths of a second. Also, Neil and Aidan in the battle for 9th and 10th. Also, as Michael gets another penalty, I think that's his second of the race so far. So, well, it's all settling down a little bit now, it seems. But look out for Michael Savage there in 4th
Look at
place.
Ken as well. Ken is right behind the rear of David Edgar towards the hanger straight TRS. Ooh, and the great
David Edgar,
there. Oh my gosh, great speed from Toro Rosso.
Yeah, great momentum out of that corner, wasn't it? And look at Zeno just behind them as well in 7th place for Red Bull. He's on a bit of a recovery drive. He, where did he qualify? He qualified down in 14th place, and he's up to 7th now. So a good race so far from Zeno. Struggled in qualifying, but he's hanging on there as Neil pits. Yes, Neil pits. Penalty for Zeno.
Yep.
They're all struggling at the moment with, I mean, I think some of their tyres are going off. But amazingly, the fastest lap of the race so far is by Zeno, 1:32.2.
Yeah,
so definitely suggesting he's got some more pace. He's stuck. As Zeno's now having a look at David Edgar. This is the battle for 6th. David Edgar's trying to hang on around there. So there's contact. And Zeno spun. He tried to hang on. Well, I mean, David Edgar there was round the outside. I think that's just a bit of a racing incident. I think he just understeered into him and ended up spinning out. So Zeno, well, he's only lost 1 position from that. He remains in 8th position. Only dropped behind Bryce Faulkner there, who's now up into 7th. But meanwhile, up in the front, CJ is starting to close the gap down. He's down just over a second. And Michael is only about half a second behind Pete Bellini. So it's closing up again at the front. In fact, look how close these two are. They're in 3rd
Look at Thomas
and 4th
Edwards
place.
and Kenzie once again. They're batting out. Flipping hell. They're batting out every single lap.
And Michael Pitts. Michael Pitts from 4th. That could be a tactical thing there.
As Alan spun round.
And that's CJ spun. CJ spun at the final corner. Oh, unlucky for him. He was up in 2nd. He was starting to put pressure on the leader. And now he's spun. And he's dropped all the way back down to 5th behind his teammate. Now, David Edgar is up to 4th. I've noticed with David Edgar in a few races, he generally keeps himself out of trouble. And he ends up being there or thereabouts, doesn't he? He's always there. Kenny's now recovered up to 3rd place. But, well, Ben's taken the lead, and the 2 nearest challenges to him have both spun off. Ken has spun, and now CJ has spun as well. So Ben now, as a result, has inherited a 4.5 second lead over Pete Bellini.
Out in 8th.
Yes, look out for him. He was pushing Pete Bellini very hard. So it could be a tactical thing there. Get him in. He was on the softer tyre, so it was about the right sort of time. But he was pushing Pete Bellini very, very hard indeed. And if he puts a few quick laps in now, he could end up ahead. And right now, that would put him into 2nd place, which would be incredible for that racing point.
Incredible as well. Incredible, basically. So
Wow.
the
Wow.
rundown right now. Wow, that was a magnificent start from him. After 11 laps, I don't know if I can carry on because that was so much action during the first 11, now 12 laps. Wow.
Yes, and there's a big fight going on here for
Oh,
12th
as Ricard
place.
goes fastest lap.
Yeah, so he has shown he has got some pace here. But look at this battle going on here. This is Dean and Aidan, two newbies, and they're battling hard over 13th and 14th position. And closing up behind them is Rian Fori, recovering Rian Fori after his accident on the first lap. He's now back into 15th position and closing very quickly on this pair ahead
Look
of
at
him.
Hayden.
So possibly.
Oh, he was going really fast.
We thought about it.
Yeah, he thought about it.
He definitely thought about it there, didn't he? But he backed out of it. I think rightly. I think that would have been a nasty accident if he'd have gone for it. But yeah, Rian Fori there in 15th position, closing up very quickly, about a second and a half a lap on these two. Oh, big oversteer moment there from Aidan in the middle of the final corner. And just ahead of this lot is Neil, who spun and then pitted. He's now in 12th position, and still a good fight going on here between Fraser McKenzie and Thomas Edwards. They're now battling over 9th position after the pit stops, and just behind them is Andy as well in the Alfa Romeo. He is closing the gap, but Michael, I think, will be very relieved to see that he actually came out of the pits ahead of these two, as Dean gets a penalty as well. So quite a few penalties. Quite easy done here, isn't he? You run a little bit wide in one of the corners, or just turn in a little bit too soon, and it's very easy to run over a curve.
It looks like Zeno has made a little bit of a mistake there, but I think he's going to be fine. I think he's keeping up with Ken surprisingly well. He's already keeping like between a 1 second and 1.5 second gap towards him. So.
Yeah, look who's just behind him as well. We're recovering CJ. Now, what are Renault going to do here? Will there be team orders? Well, CJ's been quicker throughout the entire weekend so far.
DRS
a lot quicker in qualifying.
DRS for CJ, and it looks like an easy move as he doesn't go through.
No, David Hennigan wasn't letting through there, so maybe there isn't team orders then at Renault. But
yeah, between two Renault teammates.
And they are. He's letting him through.
Yeah,
so good decision, I think. There, I think CJ's got some very good pace here, and there's no point in these two Renaults fighting each other, costing each other time. They may as well let CJ go. I mean, he's out of position really. He was up in second for his mistake, so it does make sense to let him through. But
yeah, definitely. And look at Dean. Look at the battle between 13th, 14th, and 12th. They're really close together after DRS on the Hangar Straight as well.
So we're on to lap 14 now. Ben yet to stop, starting on those medium tyres.
As Dean is side by side. There's a racing point. This is a really close battle, wheel to wheel on the fast right-hander towards Mackett to Beckett. Here we go. Neil versus Dean, and joining the fight.
And Aidan just behind him as well.
Yep.
Yeah, they're very close together. Now, Neil here is ahead, but he will be under pressure because the two behind will have DRS. As Thomas Edwards gets, I think that's his second penalty of the race, but that's interesting there. Neil had just about enough straight line speed to stay ahead of them despite the DRS. So there was some great racing going on up and down the field here. There really is. Ken is currently third, and he is being caught.
As
Bryce
Zeno goes past.
Bryce has run.
Bryce, yeah.
Yes, Bryce ran wide coming into, I think it was Brooklands. He ran wide and allowed Zeno through. So Zeno up into 6th now.
Yep, 12, 13, 14.
As
Neil goes wide. As that Dean through. As Neil has oversteered once again. DRS will this be a double loss position for Neil as Hayden goes past him. Hayden does go past him. Oh,
there's contact! Aidan spun. There's a little bit of contact there. I don't think he was expecting the racing point to still be alongside him, and he went back toward the racing line and suddenly saw he was there. So
Yep.
Wow. Nothing I can take much more action here. David Edgar moved into the pits. He was running 5th. He now pits. He's the first one of the top 6 really to pit.
Yeah, obviously on the fresh,
So-
soft tyres, hopefully.
And look
No,
out
wait,
for Michael Savage. Don't forget, he pitted a few laps ago. And he's gone onto those medium tyres. He's on quite a few laps now. He's easily going to get ahead of David Edgar. But of course, he was in the fight with Pete Polini up in 2nd place. So that's going to be the interesting one. David Edgar goes onto a set of soft tyres. But Pete Polini in 2nd could find himself behind Michael Savage here. So that's definitely the one to watch.
Okay, look at the Renault of David Edgar again as Andy does get oversteered throughout the exit. As David Edgar on the soft compound. Does he get overtaken? No, he doesn't.
There's a yellow flag in sector 2. I think, yeah, Zeno's off. Zeno's gone off at Cops Corner. We saw him go wide there, almost spin there earlier. And Zeno's off again as the leader pits. Ben from the lead, 5.5 second lead pits, as does Pete Polini in 2nd place. So Ken in his first race, he's going to retake the lead. He started on pole and he's now going to retake the lead, spun out while chasing Ben down, and now he's going to retake the lead. Look out here for these two, Pete Polini especially, under pressure from Michael Savage. There is Michael now coming through Stowe Corner. I think Pete is going to lose a position here to Michael Savage. It's going to be very close between them. Let's have a look. Yes, Michael's coming down and pit straight now. I think he's going to be very close here. And yes, he's just made it through. Pete just about bats out, and Michael is ahead. So Michael moves up into what is a net 2nd place behind Ben. Ken leads by 1.5 seconds now from CJ. Bryce Faulkner is 3rd. Toro Rosso 1st and 3rd. And I think there's a technical issue there for Aidan because he has dropped out of the session. I hope he can get back in. As David Edgar now passes Thomas Edwards to move into 8th position. Fraser McKenzie doing well. He's up into 7th place now. He's yet to stop. They're still having a good run up into 7th. But Ken leads. CJ is 2nd and Bryce Faulkner is 3rd. These guys will be pitting very, very soon. We're on lap 16.
Yep, as there is a really...
Ken picks, and yes, and
Ooh,
Ken picks, and so Bryce
look at
Faulkner.
Pete and Mike. Pete and Mike. Pete goes down the inside on the slot with the chicane as Mike yields.
So Bryce Faulkner, I think for the first time, leads the race. He leads from Ben by 2.5 seconds. He's yet to stop, but he is there in the lead in that Toro Rosso with its Honda engine. Losing time badly. Could they maybe try and use Bryce here and Toro Rosso to slow Ben down? Because of course Ken was one of the main challenges here to Ben in the Ferrari. Could they try and maybe slow the Ferrari down? It could be a tactic they could use, because Bryce, I think, is going to get some points, I would have thought, anyway. So maybe just try and slow that Ferrari down a little bit. Pit Polini is up back into 3rd ahead of Michael. Ken is 4th. Ken is 5th, sorry. CJ is 6th ahead of his teammate. Fraser McKenzie still yet to stop. We've got 3 cars yet to stop out there. That's the leader, Bryce Faulkner. We've got Fraser McKenzie in 8th position and Andy in 9th. They're the 3 cars yet to stop as CJ gets a penalty. I think again maybe just running a little bit wide in one of the corners. Let's have a look here what they do. It'll be interesting what Toro Rosso do. And yeah, no, Bryce is pitting. They're not doing that tactic. Bryce pits from the lead. I would think the other guys who haven't stopped yet will... Oh, as
Mike.
And that's Pete Polini running very, very wide. Mike trying to go around the outside. That's going to be great if he hangs on there, and he has. That's a stunning move there from Michael, round the outside. of the Vale chicane, and he's made it stick to take what will become second place. So that was a great move there from Michael. Little mistake from Pete Polini through Stowe Corner, and Mike pounced. He's in the right place at the right time as Bryce Faulkner's falling down the field. I think he's going to come out in 7th place. Fraser McKenzie still has not stopped. He now takes over 7th. He still has not stopped in that Williams. The only other car who hadn't stopped has now. That's Andy in the Alfa Romeo. So Fraser McKenzie on lap 18 still has not stopped in the Williams. As a result, he's up into 7th place, and he will be very quick at the end because he'll have a brand new set of soft tyres to bolt onto the car, and he'll only have about 7 or 8 laps of fuel left in the car.
There's so much action, I have no idea where to look at.
I know, it's going on everywhere at the moment. We've got a great battle going on for second. I mean, Ben Green out front has got a 9-second lead now. He must, I mean, all that at the weekend, through the week, saying he's going to struggle here and it's not his favourite track. And he's ended up qualifying up in 3rd place and now leads the race by 9 seconds very, very comfortably. And he's not really losing ground.
Very, very good advantage in race pace right now. He doesn't seem to make any sort of mistakes at all. So,
we saw at France.
And Dean goes. Dean, I think, lets him through because it looks like it as Zeno goes up to 8th place. Look at Kenzie though; he's up in 7th as well, with the 2 Renaults 5th and 6th.
Yeah, I mean, we saw from in France, didn't we, from Ben? He started at the back of the grid due to a qualifying ban, but he seems to have this way of staying out of trouble. That's a stunning fastest lap from Zeno.
Yeah, look at and Michael Savage. As people doesn't go down the inside, but Mike Savage goes a bit wide through there as he tries to make a better exit as Savage is kept on the gravel. And Pete Poloni, I think, goes past him. Yes, he does. But however, Michael Savage does have the advantage of going for the DRS on the hanger straight.
Yes, the other impressive thing is here for me with Michael is that he's on the harder tyres. He started on the soft tyres, now on the mediums, whereas Pete Polini's done the opposite.
Yeah, Michael has DRS now.
Michael's hanging on with those harder tyres. Can he get enough straight line speed to have another go? I think he's a bit too far back, unfortunately, this time. So Michael Savage in 3rd place, having a really, really good, strong drive here. Been unlucky in a couple of races that I've seen.
As always, as Michael Savage, there is a great battle going on between Pete and Michael Savage. This is going to go on for a really, really long time, especially with those 2 people having different compounds, as Ken sets the fastest lap time so far in this race.
Yes, he's just behind these 2 and he is rapidly closing the gap. He's taken about a second. I've been watching the time. He's taken about a second and a half out of them on the last lap. So Ken on a strong fight back now. We saw him up in 2nd place earlier. He's spun, he's dropped down the field. He's now back up into 4th. The other driver who spun as well out of 2nd place, CJ, is right behind him in 5th. He's just about hanging on. Another mistake. Zeno is not being... And Zeno's out of the race. Zeno is out. Such a shame from him. He was going so well. Well, that's 2 cars we've had set fastest lap and then immediately retire. We saw Zach Green do it earlier, and now Zeno's done it as well. So, top 10 at the moment. Ben leads by 9 seconds from Pete Polini. Michael is doing a great job there in 3rd place to hang on. Kenny's 4th and closing the gap.
But look at Mike Savage, he's going to overtake mode against Pete Polini. As Pete Poloni defends and he goes on the ground. Pete Poloni does go on the grass area and he does do a little bit of understeer through the right-hander as they're going out for the lap 21 out of 26 as Ben Green goes through the 1st and 2nd corners. We haven't talked much about Ben Green so much this race, especially when he's 10 seconds up ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, I am curious as to what Fraser McKenzie's doing. We're on lap 21. He's now pitted. I was just going to say, he still hasn't pitted, but he's falling very quickly down the field now. Those tyres done 19 laps.
Oh, as
For a 50%
Neil
race.
is also out, seems to be a bit lost.
Yes, Neil spun. I made an error somewhere. So Neil, well, he's
Yep,
currently in
Kenzie
11th place.
pits.
Thomas Edwards is right there with him as well. But Fraser McKenzie into the pits. He's going to come out. He's going to have 5 laps on brand new soft tyres. Can he close up and maybe snatch a point? He's not going to be, after that mistake from Neil, he's not going to be that far down the road. Andy Chip moves up into 12th place. I'm not sure. Yes, so Kenzie comes out into 13th position here, Fraser. Can he now do some blitzing laps and move his way back up?
There is still a lot. There is still a ding-dong battle between third and second. I mean, Michael Savage came third. Will be a great result from him, especially when he started from 8th on the grid, from the soft to medium strategy. He kept out of danger pretty well, and he's been doing a pretty good race so far. Look at Chris Allen as well. He's on the back end of Ken. He seems to be going down towards the DRS section, down the Wellington straight. He seems to have enough pace on the soft tyre on both Ken and Allen. Do you think Chris Allen has enough pace to overtake Ken, especially when Ken managed to get pole position in the qualifying Q3? As Fraser McKenzie gets a 3-second time penalty as well, and the gap has seemed to be wider between Michael Savage and Pete Poloni, especially Pete Poloni on the fast tyre, on the soft tyre, and Michael Savage. But he's been running great race as well. Michael Savage up from 8th to 3rd as well. So it seems to be going well for him so far. As Real Foray hasn't been doing well so far, especially with his starting place of 3rd on the grid. As CJ Allen is about a second behind the next car of Ken as well.
Hello, sorry about that. My microphone died for some reason. It wasn't working, but it's back now.
Yep. Just saying, Mike now have a 2-second gap between himself and Pete Poloni, as Ken now has DRS to catch towards Mike. Will Mike
look out for CJ just behind as well in the Renault. So this is going to be a great battle for the final spot on the podium. Fraser McKenzie, He is closing the gap. He's in 13th position. He's only about 5 seconds off a point at the moment, but he's on brand new shiny soft tyres, so he should be able to make quite a lot of difference there.
Ken might be able to get Michael towards the DRS. He's on overtake mode. Well, it doesn't seem like Michael's going to defend at all, but he goes from the inside as Ken goes round, tries to go round the outside. As Mike is defending well, he defends his position in 3rd place.
Brilliant driving out. That racing point is very, very good in a straight line. He seems to have set it up full straight line speeds. I've noticed a few times cars are struggling to get past him in a straight line.
Don't forget Chris Allen as well, who's about half a second behind Ken as well. If these two keep battling, Chris Allen may be able to capitalise on them going wide or whatever they're both going to do. So it's a three-way fight for 3rd place basically. This is going to be exciting, especially in the last 2 laps of this race.
Yes, it's just I'm wondering really what's happened to Rickard in this race. He's down in 14th position, not really making any
as Chris Allen goes down the inside of him. Sorry to interrupt there, but and he goes past.
Great move, brave, very, very brave to attempt that. But can now come up. Well, these two battling, of course, is going to help Michael a lot. He's already pulling away again a little bit. But these two fighting. Oh, Ken thought about moving down the inside of Cox, but thought better of it. Look at the momentum there, CJ. Look at the momentum CJ got out of Cox's corner there. Look at the time he took out of Michael.
He's catching up so fast. as both of them have, as the two cars behind him, behind Mike, both have DRS. Can CJ go down? He was down. And he oversteers.
Oh, that was brave stuff by the pair of them. How they did not connect, I have no idea. Somehow, Michael is hanging on desperately to third place.
Because of that.
Yeah, Michael hanging on desperately, isn't he, to third position, refusing to let go. We're into the penultimate lap. We've hardly seen this man all race. Ben Green leading the race now by 10 seconds. And, well, another great drive. Understated drive, you'd say, for him. He's not really been quite like the race in France where he fought his way through from the back of the grid. But he's kept himself out of trouble. Others have made mistakes around him. And the result is he's got a 10-second lead. These three battling hard over the final spot on the podium. Also, the only other battling the points is we've got Dean in 7th place with Bryce Faulkner right behind him on fairly new soft tyres. And I think Bryce has just made a mistake there because he was only a few tenths behind. He's now dropped to over a second behind. So I think he has made a mistake there. Ryan Forey, well, we saw him have that accident on the first lap. He's been on these hard tyres ever since, and he's recovered up to 9th place now. So not a bad recovery drive from Ryan. I think he would have been
as Chris Allen is pelting towards Mike. Mike defends the inside, but he's not enough. And Chris Allen goes down the inside. There's positive scan. Defended it.
How is Michael Savage still hanging on here? This is great stuff by the lot of them. And look at that, Pete Polini, 130.4. That's a great lap.
Yeah, great lap from him. As once again, CJ Allen, Chris Allen is going down for the hairpin for the Renault once again on the final lap of the race. For Chris to go able to go past Mike for the final podium position. Ken does seem to be going out of it now. Yep, as
no, not quite close.
Chris Allen goes a bit wide through there.
We haven't even had a chance to discuss yet driver of the day. Who do you think wins it there for you, Jar?
Mike, definitely Mike. He's been running a great race so far. He comes from 8th on the grid to become basically really close to the podium. If he gets on the podium, it's a definite driver of the day for me. Even if he doesn't, it's a great drive from him anyway.
Yeah, I've got to completely agree with you. I was going to give it to Michael as well. So, great drive from Michael. Kept himself out of trouble.
On the hanger straight once again for the race.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Ben is coming through. Ben comes through to win the race. So Ben wins. Great drive from him. As once again, Pete Polini's going to come through into 2nd place, and Michael Savage somehow is hanging on. Don't forget he has got penalties, but I think CJ has as well. So Pete Polini comes home
and
2nd.
Michael Savage
3rd.
goes fastest.
Wow, what a final lap that was. How did you do that? 1 minute 29.
But look at Andy. The action hasn't finished yet between Andy and Thomas Edwards. Thomas Edwards is trying to get run away from here as well.
Yes, just behind the top 5. David Edgar comes home 6th. Bryce has come home 7th. Dean has come home in 8th place. Ryan Forey gets 2 points. He will be disappointed, but good recovery drive. He comes home in 9th. Neil somehow has hung on to 10th. Despite the big spin he had earlier on.
Look at the Alfa Romeo between Thomas Edwards, and he goes down the inside. And
there's contact! Contact there in the last couple of corners. But Thomas Edwards has reclaimed 10th place. So I think Neil might have a better. And Andy has taken it. Andy snatches the final point. The penalty for Neil means that Andy has snatched the final point right at the end. Well, wow.
Actually
What a
doesn't
race
never
we've had here.
finish off,
Andy
does it?
slapped his 10th place. Neil comes home 11th. Fraser McKenzie couldn't quite do enough on his new soft tyres at the end. He comes home 12th. Thomas Edwards 13th after his penalties. Rickard, well, disappointing race really for him in the Haas in 14th. And the last person to cross the line is Javis. He comes home 15th. And the only other runner was Aidan in the Ferrari, who comes home 16th at the end, but a lap down. Well, what a race we've had there. I mean, we're going to try and get the top 3 into the commentary box now to have a chat with them after the race. So that is Ben, Pete Polini and Michael Savage, if they can, hopefully they can join us. But what a race we had there, Joe. It was just action everywhere, every lap of the race. It was non-stop. It was brilliant. So I'm going to try and invite the top 3 now to the party, and hopefully they can join us. Ben is with us now, and I'm hoping that the other 2 will also be able to join us. Ben, can you hear me?
Ben doesn't have a mic, I think.
Ben doesn't have a mic. Well, all I'm going to say to you, Ben, is you're a massive liar for lying to us saying you're going to struggle here this weekend, and you weren't going to struggle, and you weren't going to win this one. You've done it again. Pete Polini, I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You're with you. Good drive from you in the end to come home in 2nd place. You must be delighted with that result.
Oh, absolutely. For a couple of frustrating past couple of weekends, it was nice to get back and have a nice smooth race and get up and be able to have some fun and get a good finish.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant at the start of the race. I think the top 5 were separated by a couple of seconds at the start. It must be so much fun there to be part of that top 5.
Oh, that was great racing. It was really intense for the probably first longer than I would like it to be, you know, before we kind of started settling in and getting the gap. But it was really good racing, and everybody did a very great job. Really, I'm sure it was really fun to watch too.
It certainly was. I mean, me and Joe are completely worn out after all that, because that was just, it was action everywhere we looked in that. You didn't quite have the pace though to catch Ben. He just seems to be unstoppable at the moment, doesn't he?
Oh, he's quick. He's tough to run down, that's for sure. You know, he keeps it clean. He's gonna be up on the podium quite a bit, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, a good race from you. Well done for your 2nd position. I don't think Michael's been able to join us, unfortunately. So, and we know that Ben doesn't have a microphone. So that brings an end to the coverage here. Thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box here, Pete. And thank you as well to Jar for co-commentating with me here this evening.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, really. Action from non-stop, from first lap to the last lap.
Yeah, thanks for having me as well, guys.
Not a problem. And thank you very much to everyone who was watching. And we'll see you hopefully next week in Germany. Thank you very much. Good evening.